in your rehabilitation that went for almost 2 years, okay, you learned some things, you went through operations, and that led to despair and a real full realization of what you were dealing with. Talk about how you came to know what you were really dealing with.
Well, some people might look at me and say, well, you've got your looks, Johnny, but I would trade blonde hair and Revlon golden bronze lipstick and mascara any day for hands that would work. But for the sake of people watching who struggle with facial disfigurements or whatever, there's all kinds of suffering. Handicaps come at us in all shapes and sizes. And I didn't even look in a mirror for a good month when I was first injured. I was a healthy 140-pound girl who dropped down to 80 pounds real quick. The medication was turning my teeth black. I had a rash from another reaction to a different medication. I was starting to lose my hair. And I remember one time a girlfriend of mine from high school, she was a hockey player, a burly girl, a rough, muscular girl, and very athletic, and we were good friends. And she came into the hospital and took one look at me and grasped the guardrail to my hospital bed and then shook her head, I gotta leave. And I could hear her outside in the hallway retching and vomiting. And I asked my sister to quick get me a mirror because I had not seen what I'd look like. And when I saw what I looked like, I didn't recognize me. And my eyes were sunken back into their sockets. I was thin and gaunt, drawn, pale. And lying there on that striker frame, it was as though I had turned into some ghoulish figure. I remember it was around my birthday, and somebody had brought into the room one of those smiley balloons with a big smiley face. And the birthday had passed, and the smiley balloon was still in the corner, but its smile was becoming gnarled and crinkled and ghoulish looking. And it was like this big balloon up in the corner looking down on me with this ghoulish, crooked smile. And I just felt like my whole life was in the middle of some nightmare, like some haunted funny house where you turn every corner and see some other image, and you're shocked awake again, and then you think, are you ever going to get out of here? And that's when I began to sink into depression. I really didn't know what depression was until then. Maybe not having a date for Friday night, maybe twisting my ankle on the basketball court, but now this was real depression. This was emotional numbness. This was sinking down low and deep into a sullen kind of despair in which I could not even feel. As months went on, I even stopped feeling.
You had operations on your hip because the bones were protruding through your skin without anesthesia because you couldn't feel a thing. And tell us why you had to have that operation. You had 2 of those operations.
Well, I lost so much weight that my bones began to protrude through my hips. My love ledges in the front were just poking right through my skin, and my tailbone was doing the same. And so I went through a series of operations to chip off. They took a hammer and mallet and chipped off what are called the iliac crests in the fronts of your hips, and removed my tailbone. And I had to lie face down on a striker frame for 2 weeks, during which time, adding insult to injury, I got the Hong Kong flu. And I cannot describe when you're paralyzed and you're strapped to a striker frame and you already, what little bit you can move, you can't move at all because you're on that striker frame strapped, and then you get the flu for 2 weeks lying face down. It was mockery. And my girlfriend opened up a Bible and put it when I was lying face down on the striker frame like that, lying face down on the floor, she put a little Bible on on a little stool and a pencil in my mouth, and I began flipping this way and that, trying to find desperate desperately finding answers, I kept landing on the book of Job because I didn't understand it. I was only a high school kid, and this was language far beyond me, but I knew in some strange, instinctive way that this guy, this Job, he would understand. And I think I was just looking for the Bible to understand me. Just tell me that I'm not alone, just horribly alone in all of this. And so with that mount stick, I would often land on Job. I would draw on the book of Job because I'd be lying face down reading it like that, flipping this way and that with a mount stick. And I saw a man who understood despair.